All right, welcome back. This is week 6 for our cha-cha. So we're reviewing our syncopated crossovers with our inside left turn to Paseo, with the syncopated outside break, and then going into short Paseo. If that sounds great to you, stay tuned because we're going to get into it and break it all down. But first, let's do a quick demonstration. Now don't forget, we do have the time codes listed out. So if you want to rewatch this and catch a different part of it, we have it listed, whether it's the follower's footwork, the lead's footwork, the breakdown, the demonstration. Check the time codes and you can go ahead to those places. Let's go ahead, demonstrate the pattern. So we went ahead and did our cha-cha side step. So we're going into the syncopated crossover. So we have 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Left turn for 2, 3, 4, and 1. A 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2 and 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. A 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. A 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and. All right, let's go ahead and run through this real quickly. We're going to start over here, and we'll start closer to the camera so you can see us from this position. So we just have, and we have 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2 and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, let's try this from another perspective. We just did cha-cha 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2 and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, a 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, let's go ahead and walk through this pattern. This can get a little fast. If we lose attention to the details or fall into just habits, we can easily do the wrong thing. So this is quick and it has to have good body mechanics to naturally lead you to the next spot. So let me talk about that. So we just did cha-cha 1. We're going to break through the middle and go to crossovers. 2, 3. Keep this hand not passing the middle line, and that's going to save you from faking out the follow in the very first place. So we have 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we go into our chassé by bringing the hand 4 and 1. Leader through the middle for 2. Initiate the turn. 3. Run side back. We bring the hand down and back for the flick. A 2. 3, I clasp hand and we go under for 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Walk around turn. We have 2, 3, 4 and 1. We're getting ready to go into our short paseo. So we have 2, 3. Bring the hand down for the lock. 4 and 1. Bring the hand forward to stop the momentum and flick. Land for 3, face for chassé, 4 and 1. Repeat. Break, 3, lock 4 and 1. Flick, a 2, 3, chassé, 4 and 1. Forward break, 2, 3, 4 and finish. Okay, so there's a couple of things we want to make sure that we're doing footwork wise, right? We have to make sure that we're leading with our body. 2, 3, 4. I didn't close my hip. That's my trick to making sure I'm facing for these flicks. Opposed to here, she might think we're going somewhere else, especially if my hand keeps going. Hand and hip need to be on the same page. That's going to be your biggest key from there. But first, let's go ahead and go into the leads footwork and the follows footwork. So that's coming up next. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and focus in on this footwork for the syncopated crossovers. So we just did, I'll give you this point of reference here. So we just did cha-cha, 1. We go through the middle, rock, step, and then here. Notice I didn't square off and I didn't bring the hand out here. For this point of view here, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? My hips aren't square to my partner, they're here. So I'm going 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, forward, side, back. That's your 4 and 1, or your cha-cha 1. Bring the hand down for a 2, 3, grasp underneath, 4 and 1, outside partner, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, walk around turn, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Now we're going for short paseo, through the middle, 2, 3, drop the hand down, 4 and 1. Bring the hand forward to stop the momentum and flick for 2, 3, face the partner, chassé, 4 and 1, repeat. Crossover for 2, back 3, back lock, 4 and 1. Bring the hand forward to stop, a 2, 3, face for the chassé, 4 and 1. Forward break for 2, back break 3, 4 and. Okay, one last time. And I'm going to do this perspective for you. We have cha-cha 1, rock, step, a flick, step, rock, step, a flick, step, rock, step, chassé, step, walk, turn, forward, side, back, and flick, step, scoop the hand, and we have cha-cha 1, cha-cha 2, cha-cha 3, walk around turn, spot turn, step, replace, cha-cha 1, break through the middle for short paseo, rock, step, back, lock, step, and flick, step, chassé, step, break, step, lock, step, and flick, step, cha-cha, step, rock, step, cha-cha. You're done there. That is the leads footwork. Up next will be the follows.
And now the ladies' footwork. We're going to begin with our chassé, cha-cha 1, into a crossover break, rock, step. We have our back point or our flick. Make sure our hips are open, foot pointing in the direction we did our crossover break. We repeat, we step back on the foot, crossover break, rock, step, and flick, step, rock, step into our paseo pattern. We have chassé, cha-cha 1, crossover for diagonal, side. Then we have our turn, and we have a chaîné turn. So now close the feet, rotating, cha-cha, and then 1. Then we have our flick, so back point. And this point, we want to hold our count until the man leads us onto the foot to face him. Then we're going to have our back rock, rock, step, side, rock, step, side, rock, step, side, into our walk around turn, which is the same as any of our underarm turns. Man's been leading us from an open break. So we do about fade, and then we have our chassé, cha-cha 1. Into our crossover break again, rock, step. Then we have our lock step going diagonal back, cha, one. We have back point, inside foot, step, cha, cha, one, chasse again. One more, crossover break, back lock, diagonal, cha, one. One more flick, back point, step, cha, cha, one, rock, back, step, and then cha, cha. Again, one more fluidly here. So from our chasse, cha, cha, one, rock, step, and point, step, rock, step, and flick, step. One more crossover, rock, step into our Paseo pattern. Side together, side, cross, step, chaîné turn, cha, cha, one, and point, step, taking both, he has both your hands, rock, step, side, rock, step, side, rock, step, side, walk around, turn, rock, step, then we have our chasse again, cha, cha, one, into our crossover break, rock, step, lock, step back, cha, cha, one, two, three, we have side together, side chasse, crossover break again, step, lock step, cha, one, flick, step, cha, cha, one, rock, step, cha, cha. And there we have the ladies' footwork.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of this pattern. So the thing about cha-cha is it's so fast that it's hard to think about what's coming next. So if we practice good body mechanics, we can even find ourselves accidentally going into patterns correctly and following them correctly because we're using good body technique and good biomechanics. So with all these changes of position, it should just be simply that if we have a good connection here in our open connection, the follower's hand is connected to her hip and to her foot, and that's what if you followers want to think about it. Same thing as your leads. You want to determine her body position based on how you're rotating here. So that's what it's all about. So we just did our cha-cha one step. So we bring the hand through. Conversely, that brings hand, hip, and foot. So that's rock, step. Now the difference between a chasse and the difference between a flick is that we're bringing this hand in closer and it's stopping her here. So I like to have my handhold where I'm on the outside of her hand so she can feel that there is nothing going further than that, and that's how the flick happens. So we have that rock, step, 2, 3. I prefer the count opposed to the and count because the and feels too even because that's already in cha-cha. So she may think it's still a chasse, whereas the is sharper, more dynamic, ba-da, and we have a nicer leg line that we can produce as a byproduct of that. So I'm doing 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. I use the block to reinforce her, so that way the follower doesn't feel like they have to face.
And I'll probably say this again at some point in this pattern, but cha-cha is a very rhythmic dance, and it's very different for the lady especially. So when you take the next step, you don't want to move the next foot until you're ready immediately. So you want to think very specific points on the ground. That helps me get this nice point on this flick here because I've left this foot behind. If I'm starting to do a smooth thing where I bring the foot with me, then I'm not going to be able to do the point. So I'll make sure I don't move the foot till I know where we're going, and that way I can accentuate it. It's kind of tricky here. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, so that's the thing that we're playing with here, is we're trying to pick with having that connecting right here at the hip. So moving forward from here, we're moving into that chasse. If I bring the hand past the hip, which is what I didn't do earlier, that's why it didn't work, is that's how we know we keep moving. We're following the hand. Follow the leader, follow the hand. So we have the difference between 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We have that sense of here it goes, because the hand has moved past the hip. And that's what we're looking for in a lead and follow standpoint. So we have 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, see? I even tried tricking her, it didn't work. It has to be out. That's how we can get more comfortable with this situation. So we just did cha-cha 1, or 4 and 1. So now we're going into our Paseo shape. Paseo just means to pass, so we're passing through right here. That's the Paseo step right there. 2. I commence to turn on 3, and that's what leads this inside turn. Now I'm going to have footwork while she's doing a chaîné and step. I'm going forward, side, back, and we envelop at the same time. This makes us a nice shape when we're doing it simultaneously. I bring the hand down. Again, foot is following hand, so we change for that flick. At this point now, I'm going to ask for the hand and face her. Right, now we have our syncopated outside breaks. That's the connection that allows me to do that. If I'm going from this point here, and I have already landed, I'm in trouble. So I need to make sure that I'm going here with this position. That's how she's going to feel that next set, because we'll have a lot of other common pieces if we jump back and forth between patterns.
And as he's saying, ladies, make sure your hips follow that lead hand. Something also on the turn that you can remember is to keep your elbows more in. You don't want them glued to your side, but you don't want to gradually get these little chicken wings, because then there will be a delay in the lead or in the turn. If you let this elbow out, there will be a little bit of delay. So you want to try to keep, just on the turn, this elbow down and in front of you as much as possible. And that translates also to exactly what he was saying on this lead into the flick. So, You also want to wait on any of your longer beats, which is usually on 1. What I mean by wait is not go ahead and turn your hips where you think the next step is going to happen, or start to move any part of your feet before you know what's going to happen, because like you said, cha-cha is so fast. So you want to wait and be, I know you're going to be slightly behind on the 1, but that way when we come into this position, I don't anticipate either going there or, oh, I'm going to go, backwards or forwards. I wait until I know where he wants to be.
So I think a big thing here that you're going to find is you're going to have a lot of kind of hit and miss on playing with your technique. And so the best thing that you can really do is to run a drill. And this is the drill that I'd recommend that you guys run, is go between crossover break and a flick and going into your chassé. Likewise, go from the Paseo portion here. So once we've turned the follow here, we have the flick here. Go from this flick to a crossover to a outside break. The hand position, if you notice from that check, is the same. Now sometimes if you can memorize for the lead to change hand position, that gives intent and that will help them. But I would just get more accomplished at shaping and facing them. Now, the second thing that I'd like to talk about is while the follow always wants to make sure that they're staying and waiting, I'm going to tell you leads, you're allowed to cheat a little bit on the 1 because you're the one leading. Right? Remember, lead and follow or lead and respond. They don't go at the same time. She said that you're slightly behind the lead. That's very key. So whenever I have my cha-cha 1, I might turn the foot out to give the telegraphing of here comes the crossover. But if she had turned the foot out also, but I hadn't, then guess what? We're in trouble. Now, if we have a really nice tight connection and I start by default rotating open on that 1, the byproduct is she will swivel over the foot. This is really key too for footwork for you follows as well. You should be dancing on the balls of your feet. And I know if you're in heels, well, of course we're on the balls of our feet. We're in heels. Even if you're in heels, you can have a propensity to be flat-footed over that heel and put too much weight over your heel, and then you've committed too much square weight and you can't turn over the foot very well. So if you are putting your weight down on cha-cha 1, just look down at yourself. Are you able to swivel over that ball of the foot? If you aren't, you're too flat-footed. And if you're feeling it all in your knee, you're too evenly weight distributed. You need to be more over the balls of your feet. So when you go 1, you should be able to swivel over that foot. Because that foot is not a dedicated position. So the lead has the room to cheat here to telegraph with their body, and then because she, or the follow, is over that ball of their foot, they can swivel over that action. Because that's how you achieve foot strike, one of the techniques that we talk about. And that's how you achieve that, because you don't commit the weight and then do this, right? No one does their breaks like that. They step, but then based on what they're being led or what they're leading, look how the foot opens into this open third position, right? So that is what you have to keep in mind of. So leads, you're more than welcome to open up and cheat here, so that way then you can lead your follows correctly, and then the follows will then rotate on the next count. So they are literally following right behind you. Anything to add on that stuff?
No, just the same thing, keeping always more of the ball, obviously not, toes, but more balanced. And just one thing I think, like you like to say, always keeping the ball of your feet slightly on the floor.
Yeah. I always like to think dancing's like you're on the beach and you're dragging your toes to the sand. You got to keep that contact there. That's so important. So those are the drills I want you to play with, is go break and flick, or break and chasse, or with the short paseo, remember, it's a lock. So it could be break and flick, or break and lock. And those all should feel distinctly different in the hand. Now, I don't want to say start leading with the hands, but you have very specific footwork, so you have to have a strong connection. And that's going to be a flat rotation, rotates here. If the hand dips down and pulls slightly, I'm not saying I need to see all this, it just needs to move from this position here. If we're seeing this position of down and back, I'm thinking a lock. If it's coming sideways, I'm thinking chasse. If it stops short, guess what? It's a flick, it stops short. So that's what I'm going to give you as far as technique for there. If you follow those rules, it's going to work really nicely.
Basically, if his hand is following his body movement, then I know what I'm doing. It's not like I'm just pulling her, it's I'm doing it with my body, but my hand is also doing it, which is your connection to your partner. And then that's how I know. As a woman, I also have a good connection to my body, to my hand.
And it doesn't stick out too. If we talk about having a strong hand lead, it's not that it's only hand, because if it moves and looks like the body's going with where the hand is going, it looks nice. It's whenever we have this and then this really strong, it stands out, it doesn't look good because it's now moving almost independently, and that's a whole different thing there. So, and while we have a strong handhold, we are moving with the whole of the body. And that's the big thing about Latin, is that we move as a one piece. There's lots of things going on in transitions, but that's a big thing there. So continue to play with that drill, guys, in your own living rooms, in your kitchens, in your garages, your porches, wherever you may be. But play with the difference between leading the flicks and then the chasses and the locks. That is pretty much our tricks within this pattern. Keep playing with it, and then we'll see you guys next time. Let's go ahead and demo it once real fast. This isn't a good thing to necessarily be doing too slow all the time, so I'd recommend a good medium tempo to play with, making sure you're getting these controls down, and then go ahead and play with medium and fast speeds. That way you're not doing yourself a disservice on the dance floor. You're not ever used to a quick speed. I don't say do it all the time fast, but get comfortable where you can do them on those. That way, if you're given a slower song, that's awesome. But typically, cha-chas are going to be on the warmer side. All right, guys, great job for week 6 on cha-cha. So this is pretty much going to be the end of this series, and we're moving on into our next series, just like we've had with our other classes, letting you know that we're moving on into April, and we're going to move from a 6-week series into a 4-video series. Because remember, just like with the 6 weeks, the idea is that you can learn everything in 4. The other 2 are for if you're going to miss a class or for bonus practice. So it was always designed for 4. Now you're going to get the 4 in video format, and we'll kind of go from there, getting feedback from you guys. So normally we'd be voting on the next class, but since this is a new format, I'd like to move into continuing with the cha-cha at the intermediate advanced level, and we'll continue adding on where we'll review this action, and then we're going to go into another pattern, but on the same dance. So we can kind of play with the same feelings, the same patterns, but we'll have something new to work with over the course of these next 4 videos. So thank you very much. Check out the website. Go ahead and see how things are changing. Don't forget we're going to have our Q&As live, and we'll send out messages and all that. Other than that, thank you so much.